Hi, everybody. How's it going? T and Amy.
Good.
Good, good, good.
Very good. Any questions about the topic today? Does everybody know what the topic is?
Nope.
It's called persistency. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns about persistency? The ability, can anybody tell me what persistency means as an agent in life insurance, final expense?
Showing up every day.
That is one very important factor. Absolutely. That's probably the most important factor. However, persistency is actually how well you can keep policies on the books, how you can get them to stay in force once they've been approved. It's the percentage of customers who are going to keep making their payments so that that policy doesn't lapse or get canceled. And so in insurance, one of the biggest terms is the business that stays, the business that pays is the business that stays, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Because anybody can throw up, well, I've seen people throw up 15, 20, $25,000 worth of annual premium. But one thing that I've noticed about the price group that's really good is that they look at what the carrier reports. They don't look at what the agent reports. So when you see an agent throw up 8, 10, 15,000 on the top 10, because every week they post the top 10 and they actually put it on the Facebook page. So I've noticed it's not generally like in the Telegram. You'll see it on the Price Group Facebook page. Every single day they post on there. So if you don't have that page on Facebook, go ahead and add it. You can go back and see the top 10 agents for the
Mm.
last 70 weeks. And then you'll see the monthly, and then you'll see the top teams. And the numbers that they're going off of are reported by the carrier. So the carrier, when they look at a report, they just add it up, and then they'll say, like last week or the week before, Shedrick Cooper did $16,000 in 1 week, which is phenomenal.
Mm.
So I always strive to be on the top 10. That's my goal every week. I don't always hit it, but usually I do. The most common persistency things, I made a format earlier I can share with you. I'll go ahead and drop it in here right now. Let me just grab it for you. It's a document. If you want to look at it and kind of follow along, let me just make sure that this is shareable. Anyone with the link can see this. Here it goes in the chat. I just shared a Google Doc. I made this earlier. I don't have it fully finished, but it's a good starting point. I also made a little video where I'm kind of going over the thing as well. So I'll put that in there as well. So 1 second, and I'll go ahead and share it while I'm at it so you can see it. Here we go. So persistency, does anybody have any questions or comments about persistency? Anything that anyone wants to share? Any concern that anybody has about persistence? That's fine. I'll just go over a couple of points that I think do matter. Okay. So at the top, you can click here. So you can click this to see a short, 12-minute, 10-minute video about persistency. And so I just kind of threw this together, and then so basically ChatGPT organized it for me, but the data is not just ChatGPT.
Mhm.
One of the biggest reasons why somebody would cancel their policy, what do you guys think it is? Any volunteers?
Budget?
Price, yeah.
Um, Let me start this. Hey Jen, are you a co? I can't, yeah, you can't make me co-host probably because we're in a breakout room. Jarvis, can you make me a co-host while we're in a breakout room? Or Jen?
No, I think you have to go into
Yeah, you have to
the
you have to go into the lobby, right?
yeah.
That's fine. Just share the recording after. Um, so one of the biggest reasons, in my opinion, is really two major things. One is that they didn't get their policy in the mail,
Mm,
so then they think they got scammed. Number two is that they think they can get something better.
okay.
Number three, in my this is my opinion. I've sold about, and this isn't to brag, anybody can do this. In 7 years, you should be able to sell about 300 policies a year. If you do that, that'd be about 3,500 policies. Seven times five, or seven times five would be 3,500. So anywhere between 300 to 500 policies a year is what I sell. And some years have been better than others, but that's about 3,500 for me. And this is based on my experience. And so the third one is that they were oversold and they didn't think they could change it. They didn't think that there was a way out. And that's kind of, they feel trapped and they don't necessarily know that you have alternative options. They don't think that you can get them a better deal. And then if you could get them a better deal, why didn't you do it the first time? Because someone else is calling me now and they're telling me they can get me something better. And I'm like, well, why didn't my agent do that for me? So obviously, the way that you present and building that trust and that relationship and the emotional aspect of it, you just need to let the client know. I'm trying to get an agent to join the training with us. I'm going to say to him right now, can you join the training? Because I tried to get him to join me. Um, Exclusive. Here we go. So I'm just trying to get this agent to join, but they didn't think that maybe necessarily they could call you if, hey, Griffin, I was told this guy called me and he's like, he said he could get me like something that was about $20 cheaper a month. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't you do that? I've actually had someone call me and say that to me before, like, why
Hmm.
didn't you do that for me? And I'm like, good point. Well, let's take a look, because I have a bunch of other carriers we can look at. Oh, was it Aflac? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, well, I wanted to put you with Aflac, but you want to know the reason why I chose not to? And then I tell them, maybe it was like an underwriting thing, and I was pretty confident that they wouldn't get approved
Mm,
for the day one or the best that price. Because if you look at the quoter, Aflac and Mutual of Omaha have like the two best prices. But what do we know about those two companies when you go to submit an application?
it's tough to get it through.
Correct. It's really tough to get. Most people don't get approved for the preferred with Mutual of Omaha or I mean, sometimes with Aflac, it's a little bit more, it's definitely more lenient than Mutual of Omaha. It's still tough though. Like a lot of people I apply with, they don't get preferred. If you love Aflac and that's your number one carrier, sorry, maybe you know some things about it that I don't, and I could learn from you on the underwriting, but even when I get all their medications and I get every little thing and take notes about the medications, that's why I love American Amicable because you can submit notes. I had somebody get declined with Transamerica Express earlier today, this morning, and then I put her in with AmAm, and it's not the instant decision, so you never know, but it did say that they could get preferred. The proposed insured is eligible for the preferred death benefit. And then you just kind of have to wait a few days for underwriting to come back and say you were issued as applied for. But I love it when you got somebody who takes like she took like three different medications for her anxiety and depression. She also does have asthma, but she doesn't have COPD. She's not on oxygen, but she doesn't even use an inhaler. But she took a medication for her breathing, like a pill. So I had to take these notes, and then AmAm lets you put the notes in,
Mhm.
and you can like defend the client with the right, accurate information, so there's no assumptions. Okay. So let me see. Did Ben join us here? I don't know if he's here or not. He hasn't joined us. That's okay. If anybody sees Benjamin join, I wanted him to say a couple things, but man, we've got a good crowd here. Now that we've got more people, does anybody have any questions about persistency, like about how to keep business on the books? Don't be shy. There's no bad questions. I'm surprised there's not a single question. Maybe I need to check the chat. No chat questions. I'm surprised.
I got
Shocked.
one.
I'll
I
ask a
got
question.
Go ahead.
So if someone's premium doesn't go through and you reach out to them and their beneficiary and they don't reply, like how many times do you try to reach out to them before you give up?
It's a good question. You know, a lot of your time and attention can be spent on somebody trying to save the policy or recover the policy. And one of the topics that we were going to have, which I'm glad they changed it, is like texting a client. I really am not the guy to ask questions about texting or call, but I am the guy that I send real communication like, hey, Mary, this is Griffin. I tried to call you. I'm sure that you either don't know it's me or you just maybe don't feel like you can talk to me. And I take responsibility for that. But I did have a really important question I wanted to run by you and just get your thoughts on it. More often than not, they're gonna like, hey, sorry, I wasn't trying to ignore you, but I just was busy and this happened, and they're gonna give you all the excuses as to why they didn't take your call. That is more of like I'll put them on a list and I'll follow up with them, but I'm not going to let it consume my day. I had a guy yesterday who spent like 25 minutes. Like, I believe him because he called, like, at one point we got disconnected and he called me back and then kept looking for his card to pay for his policy. And because he was like, I could hear him looking, like, and then he was like, oh, dude, like, you're not going to believe this. And then there's some suspicions around what I'm about to tell you, but yeah, like my card is locked in this safe and the safe is not even beeping. So I think the battery died on it. So, like I'm very suspect because that's like very rare and unusual.
And there's always a key.
Exactly. And he's like, and I know that there's a key, but I don't have that key. My son has it. I'm like, why would your son lock up your card? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not like I mean, maybe I'll get that deal. The only thing I have going for me is that the guy likes me and he trusts me and he wants to get the policy. Now, here's another reason why I think it's a legit deal because I called the carrier and he had double the amount of coverage that he could afford. We called the carrier. They're like, you can't get any more coverage. He's like, dude, like I can't pay 150 a month every month. Like that's really too much. I don't think I should have that much. So he's not like mentally unstable. Like he was it was a very good conversation. Like if you heard the call, I think you would agree with what I'm saying. I'm not gonna try to deceive myself into thinking that he's mentally all there when he's not, you know. But to answer your question about like when you have someone who falls off the books for whatever reason, don't just completely neglect them, but don't let it consume half of your day. So set a time, call all those people. because over time you're going to build up a list. Let's say you sold 20 policies a week, then, if five of them fell off, you're probably not going to be upset. But that's five people a week that you could recover. And in 4 weeks, that would be 20 new names of people who've given you their bank accounts, their socials, who gave you their beneficiary, they got probably something in writing from you in the mail, from the policy, from a welcome packet. And that would make a huge difference to be able to follow up with that person because they at least know you're an agent and that you're real. And that no matter what anyone else said to them, then that you are the real deal. And because people will call them and try to sell them something that they can't get. And they're going to go off of something that hasn't really happened and is theoretical. Like, oh, I can get you Aflac day one, no waiting period, and you're on insulin and you have COPD. It's just not going to happen with Aflac for the preferred, but you could probably get them standard. But they really don't like insulin, so I don't even know if you can get standard insulin Aflac. So I would actually pivot to graded American General or Transamerica Day One. If Transamerica Day One preferred doesn't give them that, then it's could probably be American General graded. Those are or American Amicable would actually give them day one if they didn't have COPD, if they're on insulin, as long as they don't have complications. So the hardest part about most agents' job, who here has a problem with underwriting? Raise your hand. Anybody ever feel confused with underwriting? Okay. I'm going to give you a tip that I think will solve all of your underwriting troubles. And look, no one wants to admit they're not good at something. So I respect. You're not even saying you're not good. You're just saying like I could use some help. Like it's okay. Um, get a blank Pioneer Security Life application. I'm sorry, American Amicable Life and Pioneer are the same company. If you grab a blank application, I deleted all my computer stuff because it was like overloaded. So I had to like clear out all my files. Um, but I'll try to grab one. And if you take that one sheet of paper and you know every single word on it, I think that this is one of the biggest reasons my policies fall off the books is because you didn't get them the best thing that you could. You want to do such a good job at getting them a policy that even if someone else calls them up, they're not going to be able to beat what you got for the client. It's also just part of doing our job and doing what's the right thing. Because if you're not fighting to get them the very best thing that they can possibly get, then what are we doing? Like why do we have a job? Why aren't they just going to go online and buy it? That whole thing. So, by the way, if you guys ever want to go into the website, I'm just going to show you really fast. All the forms that you need on American Amicable are right here. You can just like search the word you need. And I'm just looking for the application, which I am overlooking, I think, but this might be it. There it is. Okay, great. So I'm going to save this to my drive. I recommend organizing everything in your drive as much as you can because when I started in insurance, the amount of clients that I can call back and get them back on the books, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you a little secret that I haven't told anybody. In the months of October, November, and December, I didn't buy a single lead, and I only called people that I had sold since 2019. And I was able to finish in the top 10 in December and in the top 10 for the year of 2025. And I only worked from June to December because I was with a Medicare company before I came to work with the price group. So from June to December, I was able to be top 10 for the year and then number one for December. And I was in the top 10 every week. I was never number one for the week. but I was top 10. And I'm only saying that to say it's a big deal when you build up a book of business and you can call that book of business and get referrals, second sales, third sales, and people back on the books that might have fallen off for whatever reason it may be. That's pretty good, to be able to do that. And you can all get there as you build up your book of business. So here's the app, and this is why I'm showing you this app. Here's the reason. I believe that most carriers are pretty similar. So if you can learn this one sheet of paper, I don't need you to learn everything but the first sheet. These questions here, there's 8 questions, but the last 2 have A, B, and C on it. If the top 3 are a yes in any way, shape, or form, then the app would be a decline, and they would need to get a guaranteed issue policy. Most likely, most likely, with another carrier. Most carriers wouldn't take them. I would say Trans and American General give it a shot, but they're not going to necessarily take oxygen use, right? Unless it's Transamerica, which is crazy, but they do. Congestive heart failure, Transamerica would take it. Um, but if it was recent, that's where you're going to have trouble. But if it's like, hey, I'm diabetic, but I don't have complications, that's question number 4. So all you got to do is just learn everything in these first 8 questions. Like if you don't know what COPD is or you don't know what, anything here is, take a moment to just learn it. These 8 things. And if you learn those things, then you're going to have no trouble with getting the client the best policy every single time that you're talking to the client, which will help you keep more policies on the books. Any questions?
Yeah, so those questions there on that application, those are basically knockout questions, right?
The top 3 questions are knockout questions.
Okay.
Then, if yes on 4 through 7D is a yes on any of them, then they're going to be on a return of premium, return of premium.
Gotcha.
If the issues that were on that second little part are a no, because they ask a lot about last 2 years, last 2 years. If
Hmm.
that's a no, but it was in the last 3 years, like COPD or heart attack, they're going to get graded. So a 30% the first year, a 70% of the policy the second year. So that really helps you get the best price for the client. So someone like me doesn't come in and get them a $20 savings per month and replace your policy because you didn't get them the best policy that they could get. If I can get them a day one and you put them on a waiting period, who's going to be the winner? You know,
Yeah.
right? That's common sense. But
Yeah.
knowing those 8 questions, that's all you got to do to be a pro. Okay, Jessica or anyone with a great question, or you, Ricardo, any other questions?
That's all I got for now.
Cool. So to keep it really simple, nice, short, and sweet here, because we don't have to do an hour-long training today. Let me just kind of jump into this for a quick second, and I'll get you guys out of here and back on the phones. How's that sound?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it. So I made this earlier, and I again, you can tell I use ChatGPT, but I don't know if I'm cutting it off by being here, but I don't care. So here it is. There's a video you can click. It's in the chat. Um, you want to consider the fact that you should send them a welcome packet. Okay. When you sell a policy, you can go to mailmyfinalexpenseclient.com because I'm not going to go write an address on a piece of paper right now and take the time to go stick it in the mailbox, especially if I do 10 of these a week. So you can go, and I don't get anything for this. This is not my company. I don't make any money off of this. But you can sell them a pre-sale packet, or I'm sorry, give them a pre-sale packet. I've even had people like, can you send me one of those packets again? Then they lost it and I spent like $18. Because I sent them a birthday card, a fridge magnet, a final wishes planning guide, everything.
Oh, I love this.
So I've already registered, but you would go in and you would put like the client's information, and then you would then put like, oh, he got a level coverage with core bridge and hold on one second, AIG, sorry. You put the policy number. He got $25,000 in coverage. And it's a bank account. He's going to pay $100 a month. He's going to pay his first payment today. It's going to be every month on the third. True Social Security billing. They don't do that at AIG, unfortunately. Oh, by the way, his wife got a policy. I only have to pay $5 to get her a packet too. Go next. It's going to put a customized name card. I have a picture of my wife, and we have a 9-month-old baby.
Mm.
She's in the picture too, so it's like my wife and the baby. Just because like it's like talk about your family, like just a tiny bit of information about the agent. It has all the states that I'm licensed in. I have 37. And then you put like any frequently asked questions. If you guys will give me 15 seconds, I have one sitting next to me. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so check this out. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I want you to see this. Let's see if I can everybody see me as the main thing? Like when I'm talking, do I take up the whole screen for you? This
Not
is
right
big, right?
now.
Oh,
Not right now.
not right now. Hold on. Let me try to see. I don't have the control.
No, they have to, Griffin, if they, in the upper right-hand corner under view, if they click view and then speaker, then you show up.
Okay, cool. So you see me big, right?
I do
Yeah.
now, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So check this out. You guys see this?
Yeah.
This is what they get. And so on the outside, it's obviously pretty bold looking, but it says important information, insurance information open immediately.
Mhm.
And then I mailed myself one because I just wanted to like, when I first started doing this a year ago, I just wanted to make sure they were legit and that they were doing what they said they did and
Mhm.
not like stealing my client's information so they could like resell the policy or something like that. So they sent it to me and then it'll have like this blue folder and then it'll put like your name. Sorry, hold on. I know that I need to take off my virtual background just real quick. Let me see if I can do it.
It's showing up. We can see it.
You can see it? Okay. So it's got my name and then it'll say like your agent and then his name, phone number, email, your carrier, your policy number, their phone number. And then when you open it up, it's pretty cool. Like they get sorry, hold on. I'm trying to I know it's blanking this out because it's the
Yeah,
color.
when you move it, it does. When you have it in front of you, it don't. Yeah, I've been
Okay,
using
good.
them since April. I've been real happy with them.
Thank you for the pro tip. That's absolutely spot on. Hold, there we go. Anyway, you guys can buy one of these and you'll see like there's a fridge magnet. And I know I keep going in and out, but there's a magnet with my face on it, my phone number, and they can stick that on their fridge and it tells them, "Hey, this is a fridge magnet at the very top.
Mhm.
Stick it on your fridge." Like pretty simple. And then in here in the folder, my business card's glued to the front. And then on there, it's like, thank you for trusting me with your life insurance needs. It was a pleasure speaking with you on the phone recently. Here's the cost of the policy. Here's how much it cost. Here's your policy number. Here's the date that it goes in force. This book, you're going to get your policy in a week or two because you guys know how sometimes carriers take like
Yeah.
2, 3 weeks to send the dang policy. Well, this, I was tired of like the problems that I got from that happening. So this eliminated that for me. So you can do this as cheap as like $8 or $9. If you really think about it, $8 or $9 to keep that policy on the books, I really don't get cancellations. Like I just don't. I used to get so many cancellations when I first started. I just don't get those anymore because of like the little things like I text them my license. Every single time I do an app, I use I use something called CrankWheel. I think all the things that I do, it's not just what I say, it's not just this welcome packet, it's a lot of things. So if you don't have CrankWheel, it's free. You can go download it. Just type in CrankWheel. This allows you to share your screen with the client. All they have to do is all they have to do, you send them a text. They're going to get it on their phone. When they click on it, they can see your screen. They don't have to download anything. They don't have to do anything except click a link. And every single time I'm going in and doing the app, I show my screen to the client if they can do it, if it's not a problem for us. Like some people are like, "Oh no, I just you. Don't worry." Like I'm not good with the internet. Like then I'm not gonna struggle with that person. But if they can see my screen, if they can do it, they can follow me through the app. They can see that I have to put their social in. Hey, now it's asking me for your banking. Once I go to the next screen, I'm not going to be able to see your banking ever again. And I don't want to. And they're like, cool. Like, I don't get resistance.
Hmm.
So again, the company is mail my I put it in the drive. So guys, I'm going to share the
Yeah.
link again. This is going to give you everything you need right here. And then let's see, Carrie had a good question. We got some questions now. Wow, hold on. Let me blow this up. The questions that I have are, I do ask for meds, just to get an idea. And I usually go general, like how many meds do you take? What is it like blood pressure, cholesterol? If they have 10 meds, I'm going to be honest. The more meds they have, the more likely I am to get all the names of the meds. So that way I can get them the best coverage possible.
Yeah, just trying to understand just based off of the, going through like the first three questions, would you ask those first before getting the meds or
Yes.
like, okay.
Yes. I go big and then I
Mhm.
go narrow.
Okay, got it.
Like any heart, liver, kidney, or lung issues. Yes. Which one? Heart. Tell me about it. Last 5 years ago, I had a heart attack. Okay. And what else happened? Oh, I had to get like a stent put in. Okay. Did they ever say congestive heart failure? No. Okay, good. Any liver, kidney, lung issues? No. Okay, good. Then I can go to heart attack, stroke, COPD, or diabetes? Yes, I got diabetes. Type 2? Yes. Do you take insulin? Yes. No problem. Do you take gabapentin? No. What's that? That's for nerve damage or pain. No, I don't have that. But a lot of people do take gabapentin and they don't have
Right.
diabetic neuropathy, right?
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you know that, what I just went over, like, and you watch this like 15 times, just this one part of the video, that right there is like underwriting 101, right? So like when you can become
Got
better
it.
than Chat GPT at underwriting, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, this is really helpful. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I know that you're a killer, as you've been doing a lot of business, you've been writing a lot of business, and you've been working really hard.
I'm trying to
Um,
minimize my rewrites, so this is
that's
going to be
good.
very helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I reposted the link, I think. Yes, 2 minutes ago. There she go. Jamie put it in there from Fort Pierce, Florida. I would go door to door in Fort Pierce. Can we choose language? Yes, I think. Oh, you know what? I wish we could, Marion. Dang, I wish we could, Maria. Maybe one day. Hey, maybe you could start the Spanish division of mailmyfinalexpenseclient.com and you would make a lot of money. Um, yes, it does. Create a business card and a fridge magnet.
Okay.
I don't
Thank
get
you.
a referral fee. I don't get any commission if you guys use it. I just think that it will save you cancellations. Okay, so now here we go. One more thing, wrapping up here. So the first draft success, getting them that packet, your card, a fridge magnet. Um, there are some things you can do, to handle like cancellations or lapses, right? The budget wasn't fully kind of gone through. The draft date may not have aligned. The expectations weren't properly set, so they got buyer's remorse, or they got an adverse underwriting reaction that we didn't want, which was not what we had hoped for, and it was just more expensive, and they got less coverage, and now they're like, Oh, I'm just going to go with somebody else.
Hmm.
I tell every client, listen, I'm your guy. If it doesn't work out, I am not stuck with this one option. We can do another thing for you. I'm going to fight for you. I'm not a corporate guy. I work for the people. And by the people, I mean you. And I'm going to fight for you. If someone tells us no or doesn't give us what we want, we're just going to go to someone who will. And that's my job to fight for you. So I really say that to the client. The more complicated you sound as an agent, the more you confuse people. And actually, the ones that, like, okay, I've been doing this 7 years. I'm not trying to wow you with, like, I'm smart or I know so much stuff, because that's not it. That's not what it is. The better you know it, the more simple you should actually be able to explain it. The best professors in college were the ones that, like, spoke like where you could understand what they were saying and they cared. They didn't talk like this the entire class when you were in their class sitting there, and like they had some life. So those factors, right? Being able to use what they actually said in your life and not just have to pass a test. You have to be able to do that in any profession. So doing the video call helps, right? The crank wheel. So let me throw that in there, right? So it's called crank wheel. Let me just grab that for you. Um, I'm gonna do this because it's the Google search. So I'm gonna do this. Use crank wheel video presentation. This is going to be in the same document that you guys have access to. I'm going to go ahead and just make it a link. And here it is. Okay, so there you go. It's free. Use it and then text them your name, your license, your cell phone number. Get them to save it in their phone. Can you please do me one favor? What's that? Save my number in your phone. So that way, if they are going to not take my call, I know that they're doing it on purpose, you know? I want to know that they don't want to talk to me instead of just assuming, right? Okay. So, okay, questions, comments, or concerns? Those are some really good questions. I really appreciate like when people get engaged because everyone's question matters. Because if you have your question, someone else probably has it, and it means you can learn and get better. So I respect people who ask questions more than people who have a question and then don't ask it, but I would never know if that was you or not. So you can keep it to yourself if you want. No pressure. Anything else that I can do for you guys today before we jump off here? Because we do not need to go 60 minutes on this.
I would, sorry, it's me again, but I would love to get some pointers on referrals. How are you asking for referrals? I know you're going back to closed, or to policies you've wrote. So
Hmm.
how do you do that? What
That's
does
a
that look
very
like?
good. See, I love that question. That's super good. Okay. So I'm going to make a bonus edition on the bottom of this document that you guys all have access to. I'm going to make a referral section. And we're going to call this, has anyone heard of the term BEC? It
No.
stands for,
No.
most people haven't. I learned this from a really good guy, and it's the best thing he ever taught. Beneficiary enrollment contact. So you're going to call someone that you've sold. The best people to get referrals from are people you've sold. Let's be honest, right?
Right.
So, Miss Jones, I noticed here, I got your file here in front of me, and I've got your beneficiary as your daughter, Sarah Jones. But the only thing we don't have that we didn't do was get an emergency contact number for her.
Hmm.
And, the reason why we need that is if something ever happens to you, the last thing we want is for her to not be contacted right away. If you miss a payment, we want her to get I want to be able to work with her to help you when you're not here, just in case she's have any trouble, in case she has any trouble at all. Now, we usually put about 4 or 5 emergency contacts for every file, just in case,
Mm,
because you might have this for 20 years.
Mhm.
So I'll do that, and they might change their number.
right.
Something might happen. So if you can do that, you also want to note for her profile, like wherever you keep her data, put a note, gave me permission to call her daughter. I would say, is this going to be a secret for your daughter, or do you plan on telling her about it? If so, when do you plan on telling her about it? I want to be able to also be involved. If you guys want me to, please give her my number. She needs to have it. Oh, yeah, no, she has the policy. She's got all your information, da 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 da. Da. Great. I want to try to schedule an appointment with the beneficiary. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I could be wrong. I don't like to do it in the first 12 months. I like to do it in the second 12 months because some kids are weird and they'll cancel their mother's
Oh, yeah.
policy.
Yep.
They get in the
Um,
way.
yeah, or they'll be like, "Oh, you're a scammer," or "Mom, he's a
Yep.
scammer. You need to cancel that. What's the number? I'm gonna cancel." They'll call in and act like their mom and cancel their mom's policy
Yeah.
because they take their mom's Direct Express card and hang out with it for 2 weeks. They would rather have that money to spend on whatever they want and not
Very
on the
true.
life insurance because that's why they don't have life insurance to begin with. Because they
Very
couldn't
true.
save a couple $100 a month. They had to go below it at the
Yeah.
mall or whatever. So that is my own thing, and I believe that that's true because that's how I would operate. And in the next 12 months, after the first 12 months, you've gotten your full commission on it. If somebody wants to cancel, I'm not going to be penalized financially for it.
Right.
I don't want them to cancel ever, but if I'm going to have them cancel, let's not let it be in the first 12 months. I'm just being completely honest with you.
Yeah, that's great. No, I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And so BEC, beneficiary enrollment contact, I'm always trying to ask for that on every call. By the way, what's their number? Oh, what's their date of birth? You can start to build like a page of like every single person on that referral page is related or friends with the person you've already signed up. And that's the best way to get referrals in my opinion.
Awesome.
And it also can lock in your deal. Um, and eventually if you sell another product aside from life insurance, that will retain. So another way to really retain your business um, is I'm going to put a note here, bonus section. There's 2 factors. The other one would be like second and third sales. So people will often spend buy a second or third product to justify the purchase of their first product. Now, what I mean by that is I used to work in a clothing store when I was 22 years old. I worked in a store in the mall selling clothes, and I felt comfortable selling men's clothes, but then they made me sell on the women's side. And so in my first 60 days, I sold about $120,000 of clothing. And what I learned was the same things that we deal with at the mall are the same things we deal with like on the phone. And people come in, you're like, "Can I help you find something?" "No, I'm just looking." And then the other thing that happens is that people will buy, if you get them a shirt, that's cool. But my manager was like #2 in America for we had a franchise. And she was like, "Listen, you see that lady out there? How many bags does she have?" I was like, "7." She's like, "Do you notice something unique about all those bags?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're all from different stores." I'm like, she's like, "Yeah, like we have all the things that she bought in this store. So why is she going to 7 different stores to buy those 7 different things?" You need to show her everything, even if she doesn't buy it. You need to show it to her and let her decide if she's going to get it or not. So I would show him a necklace, a shirt, so I'd bring him a pair of which size shoe do you wear? "Hey, I'm going to slip these under. Try them on with your jeans. Let me know if you like them." Like I would, and I would lay it all on the door, and then I made commission and I made hourly, but we actually made below minimum wage on our hourly,
Yeah.
which means that we needed to sell. So my transactions my average transaction was $500. If you could stay above five, she was like, you're doing your job. If you're not $500 per transaction on average, then you're not doing your job. So that was something unique about like in the future, if you want to sell Medicare, annuities, IULs, grandchildren policies, that client is now your client for life.
Mhm.
And that's how I want to do business because that is the way to do business. And if you're not doing business that way, I don't mean to upset anyone, but I think you're short-sighted and you have to be able to look further into your vision and your dreams, and your creativity will follow your commitment. And that's what I got. I'm wrapping there. Message me. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna drop my email in the chat, or actually in the documents. You're gonna have to go to the document to email me questions. I love email because I always check it. I'm religious about it. Questions, please. So yeah, I put it in that document. So again, the document, I'm going to drop it in the chat. And thank you so much for being here. Any final questions? I'll keep them short. That was a really good question.
Yeah, no, this was great. This was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And it would have not been as great without your questions. I mean it.
Thank you,
Okay.
Griffin.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here. This was fun. Hope you guys have a great day.
Yeah. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
So
Thank
much.
you.
All right.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.